Welcome to the Evening Gamer, everyone. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Guy. Welcome, everybody.
Back again, another week.
Another week. And this time we're doing back catalogue.
Back catalogue of games. Another week, back to old ways.
Indeed.
2Gamer.
Yeah, 2Gamer. I know. We've got a lot to pack in, so we're going to sort of smash it out.
Got a 2Gamer. We've had audio issues, so we're kind of both sitting here clenching.
Yeah, I think we should let the audience know we've leveled up in our mixer.
Yeah.
You know, thanks to your sister, we've got a whiz bang mixer. This thing is high tech as fuck.
And I think it's a bit high tech for us right now.
Yeah, geez, T and I were looking at YouTube clips trying to figure this out, but it gives us the capability to move to video.
Yes, which we're gonna be doing.
Video, you're gonna get to see our lovely faces.
Is on the way. It's kind of like I'm having the old conundrum at the moment, which is like, I don't know about you, especially this time of year, my job is taking up so much time.
Yeah.
That I'm really having to do podcast stuff like after it. And so like I'm already not my best self doing the podcast stuff because I'm a bit tired, but I fucking love talking about gaming. We're going to persevere. We got the new mixer. It's all a bit nervy at the moment, but I think it's going to work out.
I think it's going to work out. I mean, we're going to be a little rocky road for the next couple of weeks. You know, end of financial year. We work in sales. It's a tight time, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. And you know what I just loved this week is the announcements that came out for games. Like I know the Xbox Showcase dropped on. There was a heap of hype around that, and Xbox looks like they're actually doing some good things.
It looked really good. You know, there was a lot of good games in that list, and yeah, some of them are really exciting. I mean, there's watching the Fable one. There's a part of me going, 14 years ago was the last Fable. There's kids out there gaming who don't even know that franchise.
And like Fable was a trailblazer in so many ways. Like your decisions really followed you in that game constantly.
They really did. I mean, that was another game that often, if you watch those YouTube clips of like marketing letdowns, they pitched in the Fable ones that you could like plant a tree and watch it grow over the course of the game. And then it didn't actually happen. You know, it's classic.
And you know what else? Doom, baby girl.
Yeah, Doom. There was also Doom. There was a new Gears of War. You know, some pretty exciting announcements.
Hey, there really was. It was actually a bit of a stunning showcase, to be honest. Kind of like I'm on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
But like I've had my doubts recently about Xbox and the future of Microsoft in gaming and what they're going to do. Like there's been talks about them going to a complete system that's in the cloud. Yeah. And just kind of converting over to M&K.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of the end of the console wars as we know it. Microsoft is shifting gears and kind of having purchased all these game companies, releasing mainline games on the PS. You know, a lot of people were quite fearful with Activision purchasing. They were going to sort of tie away their sort of, you know, gaming franchises, but they're still allowing it to be on the PS. So it's an interesting shift of gear. We haven't seen this for our entire lives. You know, you'd usually have to buy the console to play the games you want to play.
Yeah, will that change?
Sounds like
it. How will it change? Excuse me. I don't know if VR will become a huge thing in gaming, but I'm not sure if I want it to. I like old school gaming with the controller in my hand. Yeah. And like the idea of, it being on the cloud and switching to to PC solely, I can see the benefit there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've had my doubts about Xbox lately, but watching that showcase, I was like, all right, I'm happy to be the Xbox gamer that I am and have that equipment ready to go because the next 12 to 18 months in that space looks pretty fucking exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of Ready Player One. You know, are we ever going to get to that level where it's like you put on a headset, you're on a pad that moves, and you're fucking sprinting while you're getting shot at? Do I want to do that? Am I looking to get a workout while I game? I don't know. I never really got into the Wii Fit fucking shit anyway.
It's actually the Wii. The Wii went under the radar. I asked someone the other day.
You are obese.
Yeah. The Wii Fit. I asked someone the other day, can you sit there and name all of the Nintendo consoles? And they went, there was the Cube, and then there was the DS, and there was this, and there was that, and there was the 64. And I was like, you're missing one. And everyone forgets that the Wii pretty much revolutionized wand gaming. Remember, they brought in wand gaming in like, that would have been like 2006.
Did you ever like cave in a TV throwing the controller
in
the TV?
I
was at a dude's house where he did the bowling and let it slip and just hit the
like
center of the TV. Yeah, it was so funny.
I thought you meant out of rage. No, but I've seen, back then, so many videos, especially on Vine. Do you remember Vine, that app?
Yeah, God.
That was trending back then. And I remember seeing so many of these wands flick out of people's hands and break beautiful new TVs. But, rookie error to not have the wrist thing on.
Yeah.
If you can't hold... sometimes me and a couple of mates, we used to go we used to go take like old golf balls out to like a cliff with a couple of golf clubs, just hit them off the cliff into the water. And there was one time where a golf club went off the edge of the cliff. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's when it makes contact. People just let go of things.
Yeah, true.
The old, like, just let the tennis racket fly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's crazy. No, that didn't happen to me. But I mean, that was a fun console, but you just don't think about it in the realm of gaming.
Yeah, true. I love the way you say that didn't happen to me. Makes me think it did happen to you.
No, it didn't. It didn't. If I lost my wedge over a cliff, I'd
true.
be like,
we would have
I'd have other people to answer to as well, mate. I usually get hand-me-down golf clubs. So,
what is your corrections corner this week?
Oh, yes. So I said that Grounded was made by Obsidian, and then I corrected myself in the last episode and said, no, it's Bethesda, but then I Googled afterwards, and it is Obsidian.
Yeah,
so I need to correct my corrections.
Yeah, that's all right. Mine was with Johnny Silverhand. I kind of was just like, he's a musician, he's a rocker. Of course, he was a terrorist. He was going up against the Megacorps. I did him a little bit dirty, but nonetheless, still a simp.
Massive simp. He's so annoying. Dude, every time I think I've got my head set on a decision I'm going to make in Cyberpunk, this motherfucker just comes out from the mist, says something, and then evaporates again. And I'm like, well, now I don't know what I'm doing, eh?
Yeah, I'd love to see like somebody clipping his comments and then just rinsing him, being like, you know, listen to this guy.
How about this, boy? How about you just kill me? Or please shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to kill myself. I'm sick of listening to you.
Oh, I actually had a good giggle listening back to our last episode, and you were like, just slap him. That made me laugh. That was good.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of reminds me of Senuas, which is the game I'm doing this week. Senuas Saga Hellblade 2. And geez, I didn't half want to slap the voices out of her head.
Oh man, I can't. They get so overwhelming.
They really do.
You know what's a telling sign for me with Senua's Saga is that I sat down, played it for about an hour and a half, put it down, and I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
Not out of a clear decision that's like, I don't like this. I just haven't prioritized it, which is that's a telling sign and a bit of a red flag for me.
If we weren't doing this pod, I wouldn't have finished it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if did it just to review it.
Good things on the horizon in this episode for Senua's Saga.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at my numbers. It's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. But before we do get into that, how was your weekend? And actually, I got a question for you. Have you ever on a weekend gone out for like a nice casual brunch where you just, with your friends, you're eating a bit of B&E.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, it's midnight and you're absolutely tanked going, where the fuck's an Uber, and trying to figure your way home.
I think that's happened to everyone.
Well, that happened to me on Saturday
night.
I
know. I was right there. For anyone that doesn't know, I haven't drunk I haven't had a drop of alcohol now in 260 days.
Good man.
That's a whole different story. But yeah, I was right there with you, mate.
Well, sort of.
It was a nice brunch.
I was putting those beers away.
It's crazy that once you get started, how quickly that time goes. And you're right.
It really does.
Before you know it, it's like after 12 and you're like, fucking, I should probably.
Yeah, God.
If I want to get any gaming done tomorrow, I should.
I was about to say, like, it's amazing that we can talk shit for that long. But
yeah, I know.
Hey, how many episodes are we up to now?
I mean, it's probably not even talking shit. Most of it's probably just dribble.
So
I'm doing Grounded.
Yes.
You're doing Senua's Saga.
And you are going first.
I am going first. Should we just jump straight on into it?
Hit it.
All right, Grounded. This is a game that I again found between games. I was like, I need something, like, because I found about myself is that I love Apex, and I've been thinking of getting into Rocket League.
Rocket League?
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
It's the car one where you shoot goals.
I know Rocket League. Okay,
yeah. Just been, I think it's a bit of a gaming crime at this point in time if I haven't checked it out.
Well, I've sort of, again, for this pod, gaming time is such a premium. Yeah. Anything where it's competitive like that just does not have me there because
that's fair.
It's infinite. You just get dragged into an oblivion.
Immediately equals time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you want to upskill, which I can't, when it comes to online gaming, I need to upskill to have fun. I can't just sit in Bronze League and be happy.
And this is the evening gamer.
I'm a perfectionist, and I class myself a pretty top tier gamer.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time.
You do like soccer, football, so,
I did like football for a while. It's fallen to the wayside a little bit. But yes, Grounded. I found it between games. It's the September 2022 release from Obsidian, survival action adventure. And it's pretty good. Like when I was going through my notes for this, when I was thinking about how I was going to review it and how it was going to rate on our different pillars, actually came out pretty clean. So just straight off the bat, I really enjoyed it. Let's jump into the pillars. The storyline. I'm going to dumb this down because it actually is quite a good storyline. And you really can't play the game without understanding the storyline, which isn't something that we say for a lot of new games these days. Often you'll play a game and sometimes you get to the end and you're like, oh, is that what was going on? Like, you know what I mean? But with this game, it's really, really relevant.
Relevant.
Evident is what I wanted to go for.
Relevant. I'm very curious because from my understanding of this game, it's Honey, I Shrunk the fucking Kids. So where's the relevance?
It pretty much is. Well, you play this entire game as a shrunk teenager. Now, you get caught up in these scientific... You're giggling to yourself there. You get caught up in these scientific experiments, all right? And you get shrunk down, you end up in this backyard, and you've really got to kind of find out what happened and how to get yourself unshrunk and pretty much get home. Now, you end up... What? What do you have to say?
Unshrunk.
Maximized? What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
The reason why this technology exists, it was brought into the world by a scientist called Dr. Wendell Tully, who's kind of still living in the garden. You got to follow in his footsteps, see where everything went wrong, find out why his technology isn't working the way it was. Okay, mate, his motivations, I can see you just giggling there. His motivations were good. He created this technology because he wanted to solve like world hunger and like food shortages.
Has this guy watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? This technology is not good.
It's actually
so fucking watched Ant-Man. Come on.
It's actually so funny because when I was going through it, I was like, this reminds me of a movie. I never saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, really?
The whole time, the rhetoric, the kind of narrative, the storyline, the things that are said, the NPCs you come into contact with, it's very much like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Rick Moranis. What a fucking S-tier actor that went out at the highs.
There you go. Well, yeah, like that's the game. So you are in this huge garden, and that's probably a good talking point first. The world in this game is massive. So the first thing that I did after I kind of got into the game and understood what it was all about, like it's very looter heavy, I just started pinning up zip lines everywhere so that I could travel around this game because the world is actually really well built. There's environmental challenges. There's some areas in the garden that are toxic, because they've got pesticides in the garden. Then there's a pond, so there's an underwater element to this. Like this game really reminded me of Subnautica dialed up times 60 in terms of how big and vast it was. And it really kind of scratched an itch that I have. I love base building. I love survival games. I love looting. So it kind of ticked a few of my boxes when I look for a good game. In terms of the mechanics, like I thought they were really lovely. You play in first person. You can play in third person, but it's better in first person because there's an element of survival and shooter in this. There's a weapon wheel that works really well. You can cycle through your weapons really well. You're able to jump, efficiently climb things. And in terms of how the button mapping worked, it was really nice. It flowed really nicely. So from a mechanical point of view, no grievances really at all. Challenge and entertainment, I was actually surprised by the level of challenge. Like when you download this game, it presents itself as like a bit of a kid's game. Obviously the narrative and the storyline is super aligned with that. You're playing a teenager that has the biggest like Sigma narrative. Like you're a kid, bro. And the things that you're saying is like, oh my God, gee whiz. And you're running around and all this shit. But then there's the other side of this with its challenge element, which is at night. There's like wolf spiders running around. These things are like formidable foes. And a lot of the enemy builds, which are things like fireflies, cockroaches, mosquitoes, bees, ants, red ants, different types of ants, they're actually really formidable foes. So you die a lot and you die regularly, and it's quite easy to die if you try and rush this game. Like it really is a game that's like, if you don't finish the last level and get the loot and the materials that you need and the recipes from that area, you're not going to be able to get through the next one. Like I remember I tried to kind of expedite this whole area. I was like, let's see if I can rush this a little bit and kind of get to the crux of this game. And I went to the next area and there's an enemy there. It's a roly-poly. Those little insects that turn into little balls.
Yeah.
And you can't beat this thing because it keeps regenerating its health. So unless you have the weapons from the previous area, you're fucked.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So you need to actually put a bit of time in there. But from a challenge and entertainment perspective, there's not a dull moment. Everywhere you go, death looms. You're in constant danger. You need to be incredibly resourceful in terms of what you craft. Whenever you leave your home base, you need to know, what am I going to need? What are the challenges I'm going to run into? Because if I don't have what I need, I'm going to have to come all the way back.
Imagine you've got like a backpack with certain amount of resources you can carry at a time.
Yeah, definitely. But you also have to keep in mind that once I'm out there and I find something I need to be able to store it. And also I need to be able to farm it. I need the right pickaxe to break down the material so that I can craft it and take that recipe back home. So from a challenge and entertainment perspective, really, really good. Sometimes we're even, me in my seasoned nature of gaming, I was like, I don't know if I got the spoons for this. Like, I don't know if I've got another complete expedition in me, but we got there. The character build is really nice as well. In every new area, you have to scavenge for new materials to make stronger armor and stronger weapons. Like, there'll be a particular bee in one area that you need to defeat to make particular armor, and you can't really get it any other way. There's different mutations that you can adapt and adopt as the character. Like, if you fight enough fire ants, you become essentially like a little bit immune to their poison and things like that. Guys trying to open a kombucha bottle really quietly in
I think I succeeded.
just take a sip, bro. My editing skills aren't that bad.
I didn't want to throw you off, sorry.
And on top of that, it has something that I loved, which I briefly mentioned, which is base building. Like, I just love games that have base building.
Yeah.
I'm such a creative. That's why I fucking love Minecraft. Like, Minecraft will always be a game that when I'm just chilling and I don't want to get sweaty and I just want to put on some music and game by myself, Minecraft will always be my go-to, and it's because of the base building. And
this game does sound right up your alley, because I know you're a bit of an insectoid head. You don't.
I was a little nerd when I was a kid.
I know you were.
You're not wrong. But yeah, no, it was good. Like, I would recommend this game to anyone that's looking, for a game that takes a bit of effort that you can get your hooks into. I know that this is a very niche type of game. Like, when we think of Subnautica and we think of a few of these other games, it's very looting, crafting, survival based. This game was everything aligned with that.
I remember when it came out, it didn't seem to have much like... Before it came out, I think game trailers came out and there was a little bit of hype around it. Then it landed. I didn't see much on it. Many people playing it and talking about it.
I think it's the same thing we've said so many times with new games at launch, which is it launched and it had its problems. And I know they've worked on it quite a bit. I picked it up in, I'd say, late 2022. Maybe early 2023. By that point in time, I think they had fixed a lot of those things.
Fair. And
it makes sense. Like, when you think of a survival looting game, there's a lot to them. Like, all of the crafting materials, not the chain of command, the hierarchy that they work in, that things have to be stronger than other things, and you need a particular amount of things to be able to craft something. Like, it is very much like, okay, use area A and its resources to loot and craft for area 2 and to conquer that area and then do that from 2 to 3, Gotcha. Like, it really is compartmentalized like that. So it makes sense that from launch there were problems. Now, I never really play a game from launch unless I'm really looking forward to it. I pick up a lot of my games 12 months after they've launched. On top of that, looting, pretty good. This was actually probably one of the pillars that kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Like, there's not too many secret things to find. I mean, you're already crafting and looting your way through everything is a new discovery in this game. But when you think of, like, really special loot, there's a few weapon recipes that you have to kind of go and find a key or multiple different parts of a key to kind of find. So there was that alluring looting element, but it wasn't a main part of the game. And cutscenes were pretty good as well. Like, I was pretty invested in the story from start to finish. If you're someone that if you loved No Man's Sky, if you like Outer Wilds, if you had fun playing Subnautica, I would heavily recommend Grounded to you. I think you'll have a blast.
Okay. You've touched on each category there, just by the sounds of it. Sounds like, storyline positive, the world building pretty cool, shrunk down world versus insects. You indicated the field mechanics are pretty tasty. Challenge entertainment, you said it was challenging, you were entertained by it. Character dev and build. I mean, you mentioned mutations, so I feel like there's some build element. Was in upgrading in this? Do you gain experience kind of vibe or no?
Yeah, so you have like a smithing machine that you can upgrade. To be honest, farming resources is quite time consuming. So when you think about what you upgrade, you have to be really particular with what you want to bring along to the ride, because it's not like you can upgrade everything. It's just too much. It's too many gaming hours to do that. So you really need to pick your armor, pick your weapons. You're going long range, you're going
But it
range.
can become grindy, it sounds like.
Can
It's got a bit of grind
oh
to it.
man, absolutely. Yeah, this is easily somewhere between 50 to 100 gaming hours if you want to go that route.
Fair. And then, I mean, character dev, you said you start sort of as a kid, get shrunk down, you find a scientist. Is there any lessons learned? Does the kid go, maybe I won't fucking play with a shrinking machine?
Nah, nothing like that.
Does he learn anything? Does he become a leader?
No, he just kind of walks through and goes, "Ooh, an outfit to eat," and he's like, he's just kind of useless. Like, there's no autonomy around the storyline, or like, he kind of just tells the story of this scientist. You really do just follow in his footsteps. You go from lab to lab, you find out what went wrong, you fix what he wasn't able to fix, and then you make your way through the game.
Fair enough. When he does, I mean, at the end, does he remain shrunk? Does he get big? Are we doing a spoiler?
You want me to spoil? I mean, your main objective is to unshrink or maximize yourself. Right. Look, I won't give any spoilers, but it all comes to a head around that narrative.
I bet you bottom dollar this scientist made this machine just to point at his crutch.
Honey, I'm going to have a big dick soon. And then next minute, he's fucking the size of an ant.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
I shrunk it.
I mean, getting into the abstract motivations of garden scientists.
Yeah.
That's a bottomless pit.
Honey, don't come in here. I'm working.
Fuck. I made it micro. No, I'm having blood flow issues. Don't come in, love.
It's cold. Anyway, so what is the score for each category?
Let's go. Storyline, I gave it a 9. It's solid. Like, yeah, you're right. There's correlations between Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but I've never played a game that had this idea. You also often don't play games as like just your average Joe Blow kid. That's a student. That's who you are. You're not a superhero.
Yeah. No
you don't
powers,
have any of these amazing abilities.
No
You're just a resourceful scientist kid. A kid that likes fucking biology.
Fair enough.
Mechanics, I gave a 9. I really only gave it a 9 because there was just no grievances with it. Like, it flowed nicely. It made sense. It was smooth. Whenever I died from trying to jump from pillar A or some leaf A to leaf B on a grass, it was always my fault. It was never the game's fault. You take those risks and sometimes they're not that well calculated. So I gave that a 9 as well. Challenge and entertainment, I gave an 8.
This is tracking nicely. It sounds like it's going to be a high score.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it an 8 because there were no like, oh my God moments, Like the challenge was actually really prominent. There was some like, I'm a gamer that really likes to go through a game and just be like, I'm going to take on anything I can right now. And I back myself to win it.
Yeah.
This game wasn't like that. Like, you came across a wolf spider early in the game, you were fucking dead.
Right.
You said
before, like the wow moments of it. So when the roly-poly insect, is that the scientific name for it? Came
Probably not.
out.
That's what's called in the game.
Oh, really? Okay. Wait, I mean, was that a wow moment? Were you like, oh shit, like, that's cool?
I mean, yeah, it actually was because, 60 hours into this game, you think I've seen everything. And then you enter a new area and there's 5 new enemy builds and you're like, that's cool.
Like, I like that.
Again, there's another thing. And then you start to get excited. You go, okay, this is hard to kill. But once I kill it, what am I going to get? What armor am I going to be able to craft? What weapon is it going to unlock for me? Like, so they're wow moments that definitely added into the entertainment category.
Nice.
Yeah. Character build, I went 8.5. You can craft armor. You can change appearance. You can play with your mutations. There's different molars that you can find around the map, which give you abilities to kind of like, you can get more raw science for upgrades if you use this mutation and things like that. So from a character build perspective, there were like 4 or 5 things going on there that wasn't overcomplicated.
Did you say molars? Really nice. Like what, teeth in the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right.
Like there's even a part where you use fingernails from a fingernail clipper that you found to make arrows.
Okay.
Yeah, like you thought of everything, bro.
Interesting.
It's actually like really creative game. Loot and extras, I gave it a 6.5. I suppose the storyline to a certain point, there's no massive surprises at the end. In terms of loot, there's like 10 extra items that you really need to go out of your way to find. But I think that in terms of challenge and entertainment, mechanics and storyline, picked up this rating because the game as it was offered enough. But as an individual pillar, loot and extras was probably its weakest. So I gave that a 6.5. Do you want to hear what that comes out at?
Yeah, what does it come out at?
It comes out at an 8.2.
8.2.
And you know what? Fully deserved. Like a really well-made game. I'm not sure they hit their target audience. I think that's maybe what happened from launch. But like, this is a game for all ages. There's enough challenge in there that if you're a seasoned gamer, you can be challenged by it. Entertainment levels, through the roof. Something new, something fresh, base building. And all done really, really well. So a solid output by Obsidian.
Nice. Do we? Where's it in the leaderboard? What's it sort of near? Because I mean, if just by the way you talked about 8.2 sounds probably about right.
So it comes in basically at No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky got an 8.2. Cyberpunk got an 8.26, and Baldur's Gate 3 got an 8.1.
Yeah, I still feel bad about Baldur's Gate. But are you comfortable with where it's landing in the canon of other games we've rated?
Yeah, I really am. Look, sometimes you finish a game and you think that's not an S tier game, but then when you go down the review matrix and the rating matrix, you can't really fault it. So like in terms of gaming pillars, it kind of nailed them all, like in its own little cute way. And I thought it was a really good product that they put out.
Fair. Over to me?
Over to you, man.
Tossing the mic to me. Okay.
Over to you, man.
So here
we go. I'm going to strap it. Let me put my seatbelt on.
Saddle in for this. Senua's whiny saga. Take a Hellblade to my brain. Sequel. Here we go. So you obviously all know that we played Senua's Sacrifice, the first one, not that long ago. So I've pretty much, in going through my categories, I've, taken a lot from that, and I'm going to reference what did I rate it in the first one, and then what am I rating it now? So, it is a sequel straight after the first one. It's set in Iceland. It was done by Ninja Theory. Game time, probably about 8 to 12 hours. It is a very cinematic, beautiful game. That is one big tick in its box. The fighting is not as fun. It is less satisfying. The blocking is frustrating. The dodging is ill-timed. It's just become more difficult. There is still no skill tree. There's no upgrading, which is fair enough. In the first one I said I think it would be a great game if it added that kind of stuff on and kind of expanded the game world out a little bit, and gave you upgrading, made it a bit more RPG, but that's not their style, so you've got to rate it, and how the developers are sort of building it. Not every game's going to be an RPG, so we're sort of remiss to try and force everything into that square.
Yeah, agreed.
The collectibles were borderline identical. And what I mean by that, in the first one, you'd have visual effects to get a collectible. In this, it's visual effects. The visual effects are far more sort of mesmerizing this time around, really graphically impressive. It's still the same exact challenge to get the collectible, to find a totem, to then listen to a little bit of the lore of this Norse mythology. So for that, it didn't really add anything on. It just kind of didn't reinvent the wheel. It just gave you the same wheel that just looks prettier, basically.
My question there for these developers is why? Like, because I had the same experience. You jump into this game and you've got such high hopes, and just sitting here as an evening gamer, I can think of multiple different routes they could have taken this. Like, why not give her like a devilish mutation or something? Like, she's gone through hell. Give her some sort of new ability. Give her some sort of new sword, some sort of new narrative. But you're right. Like, why make a sequel that is it's basically Senua's Sacrifice +1?
Yeah.
Or what you said last time, Senua's Sacrifice was beta, and then we got Saga, and that seems like the release now.
Yeah, they've just almost done the exact same game, but then made it visually better, and it feels very copy and pasty, like more so than a lot of sequels out there.
But is it visually better as well? Like the combat, you said when it regressed.
Well, so visually, it is a hell of a lot better, and it is one of the positives I've got for it is the combat and the killing moments are really impressive and quite visceral. But then the core elements of how do you actually play the game, the dodge, the parry, the mechanics of it was worse, and was a regression from what they'd done in the previous game. So where am I up to in this? It's more like an interactive movie. basically.
Yeah,
so many cutscenes, so much just rolling cutscenes where you walk into an area, cutscene. You then go 3 steps, cutscene. You then do one little fight with one person, cutscene. A death is a cutscene. So it is an interactive movie. It is a pure meshing of sort of cinema and gaming where you as the player take a back seat. You feel like you're just being dragged along a very linear path with occasional little moments of click. It's almost like a timed event. You know those games back in the day where it'd be a cutscene and it'd be like click triangle to jump now, and if you miss it you'd see them die. It's kind of like that, but like a newer version of it without the visual effects to go click triangle now. Not good. So the storyline world building, it's the sequel. So she's in Iceland. She's now gone off. She's trying to free her people who keep getting captured as slaves. You're now versing giants, and there's a few of them throughout the game world. If you're thinking, some towering God of War, sort of, I'm trying to think of the term for these giants in sort of the God of War games, but it's sort of like that, but just, I don't know, it's a bit all in her head. That you still got a lot of the voices in your head, which is a whole other conversation of just pure annoyance, of just like the audio elements of this game are some of the best I think I've ever heard of. When you're walking through these Icelandic vistas, streams, conversations that you're doing with the other NPCs, the air, it audibly, it's fantastic. And then you just have her coming over going, don't go there, go here, don't do this. You're doubting yourself, and you're just like, God, like I know they're trying to recreate the effects of somebody with schizophrenia, but it just, it's annoying. I feel for people who suffer from that condition for sure.
Yeah, like roll them out as well progressively throughout the game.
Yeah, like if it would impact so much harder if it was a perfect moment where you're up against a fight and it's like you're versing an adversary foe friend kind of situation, and the voices come in, are they an enemy, are they your friend, can you trust them, can you not? You'd be like, all right, fair enough, like you're pushing the story in a direction, you're giving me a bit of insight, but instead it's just a constant barrage of just blabber in your ear, and it just gets really tiresome really quick.
Are you going on to mechanics now? Because I have some grievances around the mechanics.
Yes, well, I mean, yeah. So the combat, it got worse. The blocking less satisfying, as I said. The ducking and weaving, I struggled. The whole great thing that we marked it up on in the first one was how satisfying that block moment is. When you hit it at the right time, you get the ching, and then you do a counter move on it. In this one, I even at the final boss, I couldn't get it right. And I'd just done 8 hours of this. Like, it was almost like it changed constantly throughout the game, the A-frame or whatever they call it, to hit the button.
And it's that age-old trap of like, instead of making this more enjoyable, let's make it more difficult for no reason.
Basically, yeah.
And also at the beginning of this game, something that irked me was this game wants you to crawl before you can walk, and then walk before you can run. Like, the first 2 hours of this game are you like on the ground, and it's such a slow start. And you're like, why? Why are you forcing me into this box of lack of movement right now? Like, just, I don't know. Like, it just, none of it hits that can be really powerful in some games, but it just seems like all these ideas they had were the same as the first one, but they just mistimed them completely in the second release as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time between drinks from the first and second game, and this game did have a lot of hype behind it, and yeah, just not quite there. So Challenge Entertainment, I've kind of touched on my points here. Fighting was really harder to chain. It was a lot more fighting one-on-one than in the first one. You'd often be fighting one against many, which was quite a change. Challenge Entertainment, it was visually really appealing. So that was entertaining. I did give it some points for that, but not a fucking lot.
Yeah, fair.
Character dev build. No build, no upgrade tree, no sort of change to her. There's not even an additional power you get throughout the game. In the first one, you get to a certain point, you get that skill that freezes time. I mean, you pretty much have that from the get-go. There's no new sword you get. There's nothing new you acquire throughout the course of the game that changes the way you play the game.
There's just really nothing from a lore perspective to clutch onto and be excited about. Like, even in the first one, that fight with Fenrir, you might not have enjoyed it, but that's something as a game to clutch onto. That's a big moment.
Well, yes, I mean, there was that in this game. So you did come up against giants, and those giants did have the Fenrir element of it, and there was a really cool moment where you walk into a tornado. it is quite late in the piece. And so there was a few moments like that, and I have given it credit for those moments.
Yeah, nice.
So where are we up to? So basically the character development. So in the first one, this was, again, another really high scoring area for us of her overcoming the death of her partner in the first one, getting them out of Helheim. In this one, it's basically, does she choose to become a tyrant? Does she choose to take down this person who has been sacrificing these people? Does she become the tyrant herself kind of, question?
Right.
And you just kind of like, it's a poor girl who's got schizophrenia, like
it is what it is.
Yeah. Is she really coming up against a tyrant and I don't know. The mental health element of it. I don't know. It's
kind of like they tried to do the old Game of Thrones, the Mother of Dragons kind of character arc.
Yeah, kind of.
And it's like, actually, this chick doesn't have those choices, I feel like.
I know. Like, in the first one, I felt that they were really clear and concise of what is the development of this character going through over the course of the game. In this one, it was like the afterthought. It wasn't the forethought.
Yeah.
Loot extras. The first one, we scored it really harsh on this because there was basically no loot. The collectibles were really frustrating. You could easily miss them. This is more of the same. They're even harder to find this time around. When I found the first one, it made me known that I'd already missed about 4. And I was like, I'm not playing this again just to find your silly little fucking lore, voiceovers.
No chance. They haven't earned the right to ask you to do that.
Yeah, so, often there's a game that I gave a try to back in the day that was called Death Stranding. And it was a Hideo Kojima game, and it was often, a lot of people either love it or hate it. The people who hated it used to complain it was a walking simulator, that you played this guy and you basically transporting goods between point A to point B. I think that's probably a bit of a harsh on that game. This game is a walking simulator.
Yeah. You know what? This game, Senuas Saga, reminds me of, when you make plans, like a week in advance, you're like, oh, let's go and do that thing. And then you've kind of promised it, and the week comes around and your mate's like, let's go do that thing. And you're like, oh, fuck, I said I would. So you go. That's what I feel like this game was. It's like they were like, we're going to make a second one. And once they put that out there, it just feels like they got to making it and they were like, oh, just do it. Yep, fine. All right, yep, let's do that. That's easy. No worries. Yeah, whack that in there. Or do we have the combat from the other game? All right, chuck it in there and do something with it. And like they didn't capitalize. Like there's so much creative space they had here. So much. Yeah. And like
I couldn't agree with you more. There's no innovation. The innovation is it is now on next-gen graphics and the audio is a little bit cooler. Beyond that, it was cut, copy, paste to the nth degree, and also less time actually spent on what did gamers actually enjoy about the first one was some of the combat elements. I mean, I'll still remember for probably a time the fight where you go into Helheim, you're in the lava pits, there's all these bad guys around you and you're fighting multiples at a time, and it's a huge hellscape with lava everywhere. Like, that was a really cool part in that game.
Yeah.
In this one, like, apart from that tornado sequence, I don't know, like, it could have done with just a bit more polish, a bit more time, a bit more consideration. It's an unfinished game, and there's, I don't know if this is a factual thing, but like, sometimes you feel like they put out these games on Game Pass and you're like, is Game Pass just like a place where they kind of toss the ones that they don't think are going to hit off?
Where they kind of park their catalog of subpar games.
Yeah.
Which makes you kind of not want to sign up to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, every once in a while there'll be a good game on there and you'll be like, yeah, okay, like, it's worth it. You give it a go. But, like, I don't know.
Their biggest success in Game Pass for me has been No Man's Sky. I haven't paid a cent towards that game. Except, obviously, my fucking Game Pass subscription.
True.
But, like, I haven't paid a cent towards that game and I've enjoyed hundreds of hours on it. Like, that's a huge success. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes Game Pass just feels like a catalogue of games that never made it to theaters,
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like, I think we're doing it a disservice because they are really pumping out a lot of games into that platform and, moving to this hard subscription model. But I don't know.
This isn't the pin-up game for it.
No, it's not.
And I think, look, having seen the showcase, there's a ton of exciting things coming to Xbox.
And they said in a lot of that they were going to be straight to Game Pass, and they were top-tier titles.
But also, no one ever asked for Game Pass. We were fine buying our games,
Yeah.
Everything tried to move to this subscription model. Music, Netflix, movies, Why gaming?
Yeah.
I never had a problem paying $100 for a good product that earned it.
I really enjoyed the selecting, choosing, and you know, when you got it wrong, you did kick yourself about it. And obviously, this is taking it away a little bit because you just download, deinstall, whatever. You don't care about it because you didn't really pay for it. You're just paying for the subscription. But I totally agree with you. Who in Microsoft was like, let's do this? But I mean, fuck, it's working for him. You know, I mean,
and like, there's sometimes as someone that's loyal to Microsoft and Xbox because it's a great gaming platform. It really is. And like the Xboxes, I mean, they're into their 6th generation of console now.
Yeah.
And it's a really good console. You look at the new Xboxes that came out after the One series, what we've got now, the X's and the XS's. They're good consoles that have good capabilities. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I pay my subscription to Game Pass just out of loyalty to that brand.
Yeah, which, I mean, you know, you should never be loyal to the corporate megacorps.
So true.
Here, Keanu Reeves just popping out. Excuse me. All right, so the ratings. Should I read them out to you and you punch them in?
Yeah,
so,
I gotcha.
Storyline world building, the first one we gave an 8. I gave this one a 7. Felt, you know, it wasn't quite as well thought out, slightly down, but the giants were still interesting. You know, sort of the running into a tornado, that sort of stuff I put in that category.
Totally fair. I feel like it's going to need those points as well.
Yeah, it really is. Film mechanics. So this was a significant drop because of the mistiming with the blocking and the one-on-one fights about it. So it became a 3. It went from a 7 to a 3.
Mate, give it its dues. Like, this is fine because I'm so disappointed with this game. So it is what it's going to be. Let's keep going.
Yep. So challenge entertainment. So this one it went from a 6 to a 3. I halved it. And the reason why it even got some points was because the entertainment factor and how visually appealing it was and how the one-on-one fights, when you did actually kill them, it looked pretty cool when you sort of sliced a dude's throat. That sounded really...
That was quite visual.
Sorry.
Character build.
Character dev build. Again, 6 to a 3. Halved it just out of sheer no change. It's more of the same. No innovation. So you get no marks.
Fair.
You know, 3 is probably even too much. Loot and extras, again, from a 3 in the first to a 1.5 on this. 0 loot, minimal collectibles. They're harder to find. And just the extras I put, the audio was kind of cool that you could hear a stream running in the background sometimes.
Fair enough. The review system is honest. The ratings are raw. They are what they are.
We're not
going to lie. Do you want to hear what it came out at?
Yeah, hit me with it.
A fucking 3.5.
Fucking fair.
You know what? Yeah, totally fair. Sometimes when I'm going through this review matrix and this rating system, I think that it's kind of like marking a paper. Sometimes, like as a professor, like that's the way you got to look at it.
No, that's actually a really good way to say it.
When you got your A grade student, which is Elden Ring, and then you got Senuas Saga, which has been sitting up the back, not putting in any effort, doesn't give a fuck about what you want. You got to be like, fuck it. You know what? You failed here, mate. And this game fucking failed. It absolutely missed.
I know. It's a shame because it's like it could have been something. It really could have. You know, it just wasn't, and it's a shame.
And that adds to it is like we aren't developers. We are gamers, and for us to be sitting here with all these great ideas that they could have run with, that wouldn't have. You could have put just the slightest amount of resources out of the theatrical bit of this game and into the practical gaming element, and you're looking at improving those pillars drastically just by adding in little bits here and there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I feel like I read a lot of the reviews for other gaming magazines, companies that, you know, did this game. And it really ranged from people either going groundbreaking, you know, super visceral experience, you know, a merge of cinematic experience, blah, 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 you know, to then the bona fide gamers, the real gamers who were like, nah, like it's a 5 at best, you know, and you're sort of like, I'm more on that side of it. You know, I don't know, you know, obviously don't want to get into the pay to play elements of it. And, you know, I feel like they could have easily gotten some feedback from the first game and gone, are we going to change this? You know, are we going to try and rectify this in the sequel? Because a lot of gaming companies will go, what was negative about the first game? Let's address that in the second one and improve upon it. They didn't want to do that.
No, and like you got to look at this as like TV shows as well. You know, like your favorite TV show, let's say it's season 1, it absolutely hooks you. You get on board with the characters. You love the storyline. You love the conflict. You're all about it. Then season 2 comes out. You've still got the characters you love in there. They've still got their issues, but they find a way to make it different. Yeah. You got to hold gaming to the same fucking criteria.
Yeah.
It's like, I got on board with your product because of what you offered, but you can't just give me season 1 plus 1.
Yeah,
I'm not going to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I know what happens here. And it also shows me your creative limitations as developers and publishers. Like, yeah, it's an absolute miss. And even if this game was as visually good as the first one with all the same things, you mark it down immediately because it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like some game companies would go, you release a Batman Arkham Asylum, and you go, let's level it up for the next one. You know, bigger city, more open world, and da-da-da. And you're like, okay, more of the same. The same was fantastic. You've taken feedback, you've innovated, you've expanded more gadgets, whatever it is. But I reckon these guys were like, oh, the first game was really, really good. So let's just do it again. You're like, it wasn't that good. Like, relax.
And also, there's not enough in the game for the same to be good again. It's like, you look at like Watch Dogs 1 to Watch Dogs 2. Very, very similar games, but there's enough in those games for you to be somewhat entertained. Yeah. It's open world. There's a lot of side quests. You get a new protagonist. The game itself, the shell, is exactly the same. Yeah. But you still finish the game, that was all right.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game was low-key like a demo that they were like, let's show what Unreal Engine 17 can do, and then we'll still put it out as a game and just get a little bit dosh on that.
This Senuas Saga for me was just a non-event.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So disappointing, and I was so looking forward to this. I had it on our exciting games for this year, and it's just flopped.
Yeah.
It's just flopped.
It did flop.
Anyway, on to better times.
Put that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. Questions from a hat, my friend.
Questions from a hat.
I reckon we've kind of got the same question here. Like, we're kind of coming up on time. I want to talk about the Xbox Showcase. There are a lot of exciting ones in there.
It did just come out. I do enjoy watching a good game trailer. As we both know, these things are not indicative of what the final product will look like.
True.
Don't get done dirty, as I have been done many a time. Consider it as many of them are just cinematics. They've graphically sort of gone, this is, we're doing this, get excited, but it isn't actually what it will end up looking like.
I'm actually so upset with Senuas Saga as well, because that's one of my recommendations that I've recommended to you.
Yeah.
And they've just fucked me.
I mean, to be fair, the first one, it wasn't, it wasn't that bad. Let's anyway, we put it behind us. No, you're giving me PTSD. So the question is, for this one, which game out of the Xbox Game Showcase were you most excited for?
There was a lot in there.
There was.
And I think we're going to have different answers to this. We might align on the Fable. The Fable release is one of the most exciting things I've heard this week.
Yeah.
Like, even the first one that came out early 2000s, I remember how much of a groundbreaking game that was in terms of the autonomy behind it and the power it gave to the gamer. Seeing that Fable trailer drop and seeing the world build that they're potentially building around that game makes me so excited for what's on the horizon. So Fable was one of them, and I also have to go Doom. I finished Doom Eternal. I was like, well, that's that for that franchise, but that was silly of me. Doom goes back almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
But I think actually, it's coming up to 30 years now, Doom, as a franchise. So to hear that they're making another one, like, I just fucking love that.
I know. I knew you'd be excited about that one.
So those are my two. Fable is something I'm so looking forward to, that re-entering the gaming space with a good, hot new release. And coming back to what we've spoken about today, I think I trust Fable and those developers to make more of the same with a nice, fresh look and make it engaging and entertaining. And the best thing about having 10 plus years between releases is your capabilities now with the technology and the AI and different things that you can implement into making a game are going to take that game well over the edge. So I'm so fucking excited for Fable and Doom.
Yeah, agreed. Fable was definitely on my list. It was interesting. There was a lot of games in that with sort of new IPs that were coming out that, looked pretty cool and pretty changing up sort of, a lot of things, which I was quite excited for. So on my list, I had Diablo. I played Diablo a fair bit. I'm interested to see what they do in their first DLC that's coming out with a new character you can be. Starfield, I felt, was an interesting one.
Yeah, that took me that took me back. I'd almost forgotten about Starfield.
Yeah, I mean, did we review Starfield earlier on in this? I can't remember if we've actually done it, but we both played that one on launch, and Starfield was one that I think we both kind of remember chatting about. Going, we were pretty keen for it. It came out. It wasn't quite where we thought it was going to be. I was thinking Bethesda, Skyrim. I love my sci-fi, and it just, I don't know. But with the DLC, I feel like what they're going to do is make it what I wanted it to be when it first came out. The looking of getting a vehicle on the game, it makes sort of driving along these huge things a bit easier, a lot more story, points of interest. So I'm pretty excited for that one. That one looks pretty good.
Starfield, after our first 20 hours of gaming, that we both kind of came together and was like, I had fun for 20 hours, but there's a lot more potential than I've seen here.
Yeah,
I think we both agreed on that. That was like, I don't know, there's games currently doing a few things better than Starfield in the same space. I think if they go back to the drawing board for 6 to 12 months and come back out with something, it could be a fucking top hot game. Yeah, and it sounds like that's what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, we should talk maybe Starfield eventually when they sort of release this update and maybe do a whole episode on it. But Gears of War was one of mine. I know it was sort of one of the top lines. It's got a huge following. I've played all the Gears of War, really enjoyed them. This is, I remember playing it as a kid on the Xbox, whatever it was, 360 or the one even before that, the Xbox Flat, that first Gears of War, playing it co-op with a mate when I was a kid. So this has got a nostalgic feeling for me. It's a prelude kind of game going back to the very beginning, Marcus Phoenix and his boy. I think it'll be pretty good. They're really fun games. So I think it's exciting, and it's nice to sort of have these games coming up. I feel like over the last little bit, it's been not really too much apart from the Elden Rings, you know.
Yeah. Few announcements as well. We eclipsed 1,000 downloads.
We did too, yes.
And we eclipsed 100 active listeners per episode.
That's great. I'm so pleased that people are enjoying us.
Yeah, so active listeners are different to anyone that just kind of listens to it. Active listeners are people that come back. So if you've been coming back, we love you.
Yeah, thanks for coming back, guys. I mean, we always say it. Do, write us in. We sort of keep an eye on the email inbox and love to chat to you guys.
There's also a lot of exciting things coming for the podcast. As Guy said, we're starting to look into video, which we'll be getting up. We're also going to start making different sub-series. So it's not always just going to be game reviews. We'll, stick to game reviews, but we're also going to be bringing in like a monthly news and gaming topics. So there's a lot of things happening within the podcast. Give us some time.
Yeah.
We're
looking to add to our bow. And I think one of the ones I'm kind of excited about is to get a guest speaker on.
Yes.
I'm sort of looking forward to a lot of our mates obviously are gamers and they've been listening and been supporting us, and they'll have their own favorite games and we'll get them on and see what they've got to say for themselves.
Absolutely. But lots of things coming. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, don't be an NPC.
Keep leveling up.
Thanks, everyone.